Vector Robot. Vector is the most technologically advanced house robot that has ever been produced, and it comes at a price that makes it affordable to bring him into your home. In this video, we will talk about Vector, developed by Anki. Before the video starts, like this video, and subscribe to Projectventive YouTube channel. In ways that have only been seen in science fiction movies up until now, he starts to make good on the promise of living with robots. He is an alert and inquisitive little fellow who is conscious of his environment. He can see, hear, and feel, which enables him to respond normally to the environment that he is in. Nevertheless, the fact that he is alive is the most astounding thing about him. Vector has vitality about it. The Kickstarter community in the United States currently has first dibs on the availability of Vector, which is scheduled to be ready for shipment in October. Because of these two primary considerations, we have decided to make him accessible to you here first. 1. Members of the Kickstarter community invest in the years to come. We are developing a future in which robots interact socially with humans and contribute to the enhancement of our lives. We want to find people who share our values so that they can be the ones to bring him back. An enormous step forward for the robot race, courtesy of Vector by Anki. 2. The Vector will be available for purchase in October, but that is only the beginning. We want him to go first into the care of people who are enthusiastic about participating in the process of determining his destiny. That would be you. To accomplish this, we need your assistance in determining upcoming additions and functionality. In addition, if you want to delve any further, you'll be given early access to Vector's software development kit, SDK, which will allow you to experiment with his extensive collection of cutting-edge technology. When he's being of service to others, Vector is at his happiest. He is glad to fulfill your requests and provide you with the information you require. He is not a fully grown robot butler capable of doing your taxes, buttering your bread, or writing a position paper on the future of robot/human relationships, but he is a helpful little guy who puts his whole self into helping you out. He is not able to write a position paper on the future of robot/human relationships. The diminutive form of Vector conceals an incredible quantity of the technology that is necessary to bring him to life. He takes in his surroundings through some different sensors, and his responses are then grounded in realism. This indicates that he can read a room, hear what is going on, identify people and items, locate his charger, traverse his environment, and avoid obstacles. Your voice is recognized and responded to by Vector. To activate Vector, simply call out his name, and he will immediately begin to pay attention. As soon as he hears you, his backpack will start flashing lights, and he will be prepared to receive additional commands. The cutting-edge technology that is embedded into Vector makes it possible for him to have a character that is so lifelike that he can study the world and react authentically. The Qualcomm 200 processor platform is the source of his powerful processing capabilities. His sight is provided by a high-definition camera that has an ultra-wide-angle field of view of 120 degrees. Because he is equipped with a beamforming 4-microphone array, he possesses directional hearing. Because he is rolling around with an infrared laser rangefinder, he does not accidentally run into any obstacles. He looks at the high-resolution color IPS display that he has in front of him directly. He also has a Wi-Fi connection and a 6-axis inertial measurement unit, IMU. If you're confused by any of that, simply watch the video that's been embedded above. And take solace in the fact that you live in a time and place where it's possible to buy a real robot. Industrial design. We set out to make Vector as user-friendly as possible right from the start. The form factor of Vector went through several prototype iterations, during which it was tested whether he should move on wheels or tank-like treads, how he would manipulate objects, the shape of his eyes, where his battery pack would live, and even where each of his more than 50 gears would be positioned. After the final form was chosen, our team had to design the systems that help Vector interpret the world around him. For example, the 4-microphone array not only allows Vector to hear but also allows him to perceive where a sound is coming from and focus on it. Similarly, the edge detection sensors not only allow Vector to remain stable on a table, but they also determine when he is correctly positioned on his charging cradle. Additionally, we outfitted the front end with a time of flight (TOF) laser distance sensor. This sensor contributes to Vector's capabilities of simultaneous localization and mapping, SLAM, as well as assisting with the detection of obstacles. Because there were about 700 different components, each one needed to be precisely positioned. Robotics and AI. Vector has access to a wide number of sensors as a result of his physical design. However, how he processes the information that he receives is equally essential. Vector can observe the room he is in, recognize people and objects, and detect motion thanks to the integrated high-definition camera in his suit, which has an ultra-wide field of view of 120 degrees. In addition, Vector is equipped with an infrared laser scanner that allows him to measure the distance between different objects and create a map of his surroundings as he investigates, as well as a 4-microphone array that is capable of localizing positional sounds. These and other sensors supply the inputs that drive Vector's emotion engine, with each data point influencing whether or not he is pleased, sad, curious, or any other emotion at all. Vector's responses to stimuli are determined, in part, by the level of each emotion he experiences. Character. When you introduce Vector into your home, his personality will play a significant role in the bond you have with him. Our objective was to create a personality that was authentic, credible, and surprising. This personality would react in a natural way to the inputs that it received through its computer vision and emotion engines. We found that small wild animals and exotic pets, such as fennec foxes and sugar gliders, were useful analogs to Vector as a robotic creature whose natural habitat is the home. This allowed us to accomplish this goal while maintaining the authenticity necessary to elicit an emotional response from the audience. The behavior of these creatures is fresh and unadulterated. They are not putting on a show for anyone, rather, they are merely responding to the environment that they find themselves in, and yet it is hypnotic to watch them. In a nutshell, that encapsulates the core of Vector's personality well. Animation. After the character of Vector was developed, our in-house animation team began working to bring him to life by animating his many movements and behaviors. Because variety is the spice of robotic life, Vector possesses more than 1,000 animations that he is capable of doing at any given time. These animations include several iterations for common feelings or facial expressions. We can fully pose Vector and adjust his interactions by making use of Autodesk Maya, which is an animation software that is generally only used by Hollywood studios. After that, we can render out to a physical robot in real time. Each animation takes careful deliberation on how Vector, both as a character and as a physical thing, should respond to the information that is received from his numerous sensors. It is the combination of robotics, artificial intelligence, character development, and intuitive animations that brings Vector to life in its entirety. Testing. A character that has the impression of being alive is the result of the combined efforts of design, artificial intelligence, AI, and vision technologies, as well as character and animation. We test everything to ensure that all of the components are operating in tandem with one another. Hardware, software, sensor calibration, Wi-Fi connectivity, and a great many other factors are all taken into consideration to ensure that he will deliver when you first unbox him. The unique utilities that Vector provides were investigated and played about with. Our developers discovered numerous different ways of parsing out time, as well as subtle quirks, which let them stretch the limits of our cloud voice processing system. Even though you might think testing a timer would be simple, it wasn't. Some of our QA team will be happy to never hear 1.5 minutes or 1.5 minutes ever again. We put Vector's wireless connectivity through its paces by first connecting the robot in an office that was saturated with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth to test its stability in an extremely noisy environment, and then we took the robot home to test it in an environment that was more representative of a typical user's setting. We perform extensive environmental testing. Have you ever seen a refrigerator filled full of tiny robots, and even spend a considerable amount of time dropping Vectors from, usually reasonable, heights to calibrate and stress test the vision and navigation systems? We will do all in our power to ensure that a robot that is both alive and eager to explore is capable of surviving in the real-world environment that is your house. Manufacturing. In addition to developing, optimizing, testing, and considering Vector in its capacity as a robotic organism, we are also building During the design process, each prototype is produced and put through its paces in terms of testing, while specific features are reviewed internally with nearly final hardware and software. Now that we have reached the final stage, we are producing and testing the assembly fixtures that are necessary to ensure that every vector is a high-quality robot. In addition, we are putting the finishing touches on the highly automated plastics and paint lines, and we are in the process of training the nearly 100 workers who will be responsible for assembling and testing each vector as it is produced. What do we get in the end? Imagine, if you will, a real-life robot that is brimming with personality and that you can bring into your home. App-enabled Vector requires the use of an app for setup, but after that, all interactions with Vector are carried out through direct eye contact and spoken communication. There is no need to bring your phone between the two of you because he is a living robot that resides in your home. The application provides a visual representation of Vector's current state of mind, as well as the level of stimulus he is experiencing. Additionally, it is the location of his robot and human selfies for viewing. How did you like the video? Do you like it? Leave your valuable comments in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel Project Ventive on YouTube.